A grand jury will soon hear evidence regarding that brutal assault of 2 NYPD officers by a group of migrants near Times Square. Manhattan DA ALVIN Bragg says he's preparing to present charges in front of a grand jury tomorrow. Bragg has been facing growing criticism for allowing the suspects to be released without bail.
So far, 6 men have been charged with felonies. Only one is being held in Rikers.
And then again, it's more than just being released without bail. The sanctuary city status that ALVIN Bragg, Democrat ALVIN Bragg, supports does not allow law enforcement to intervene in these situations. But notice how they're not saying that. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. And real quick, shout out to everybody. I appreciate everybody that's in here. If you guys haven't smashed that like button yet, please take a moment, smash the like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, please take a moment, hit the bell. And also, if you guys have not shared the stream, please share the stream. We got 55 people watching. Shout out to each and every one of you guys. And we got 50 likes. If we can get those likes to 100, that'd be amazing.
4 of the suspects are believed to have fled the state. They're on the lam somewhere. Joining us this morning, NYPD Chief of Patrol John Schell. Nice to have you back.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
So let me ask you, what are the chances of you finding those 4 people who took off on a bus with under different names?
Well, they're free to go right now. They're released on our own recognizance. If they're not back in a month, a warrant will be drawn for their arrest.
Now, let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think that they're going to be back in a month? Of course they're not going to be back. They're not going to be back in a month. They're not coming back. Why would you come back? If you were undocumented, would you guys come back? There's nothing tying you to coming back. You're not being held until court. You know what I'm saying? They don't know your real name. You can get somebody to fly you out, bus you somewhere. Why would you stay? And on top of it, even if you stay there and don't go to court, it's a sanctuary city, so the sheriff will not get cooperation with USCIS to come pick you up. Make it make sense. They created this problem on their own.
You can have that discussion, but right now they're free to go wherever they want.
Do you see a trend with assaults against police officers? Because we have video from Viral News NYC who actually they saw some of your police officers bloodied after the assault this weekend.
Yeah, so we have a 20% increase in our cops being assaulted from 2022 to 2023. 2,200 of our cops assaulted or attempted to be assaulted. Why is this happening? The emboldenment. There's no consequences. At this point, you touch a cop, you should go to jail. I mean, it's really that simple. But this is why it's happening. No consequences, and our cops are getting hurt out there. Unacceptable.
Yeah,
let's turn back. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say that's a video from Viral News.
Yeah, let's turn back to the
So again, it doesn't have anything to do with the migrants, right? I want you guys to pay very close attention to how they're using an interesting tactic here. They're using a deflection to move away from the fact that the migrants did this, to trying to put back in anti-black laws. Do you guys see this? If you guys see that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't see that, give me a thumbs down. And again, just remember, again, this is the Democrat media. This is the blue media.
one caught on tape of the group of migrants attacking the 2 police officers in Times Square a couple of Fridays ago. District Attorney ALVIN Bragg is going to present to a grand jury evidence that they should be charged with felonies. So far, he's taking a lot of heat for this. It seems to me that it's not necessarily bail reform, but the execution of it, because all these charges, they were eligible to be held without bail, yet the prosecuting attorneys of the district attorney's office decided not to prosecute or bring evidence against them to hold them on bail.
There it is right there. Now, see, I guarantee you, I've never seen this guy here on this news channel right here. Usually it's that the other lady with that older lady. I guarantee you, after him asking these questions, he won't be on there anymore. They put him back on the weather or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
You're correct. It was bail eligible. Bail should have been set. The judge should remand it also. But
right. So now here's the question: How did bail reform stop? How did bail reform encourage these criminals to attack the police officers when this was a bail eligible crime and ALVIN Bragg himself decided to not apply bail? What does this have to do with bail reform? Bail reform was in place, and even with bail reform in place, they could have still put him in jail, and they chose not to. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that, guys? Even with bail reform in place, this was still a bail eligible crime. So why are we talking about bail reform? What you need to talk about is getting competent prosecutors. But what you're seeing here is they want to roll back all of the bail reform. So they're going to keep harping on the bail reform. You have incompetent prosecutors that do whatever you want them to. So make it make sense. They know that Alvin Bragg is a soft batch, grimace-shaped clown who will literally do whatever they tell him to do, which is why they're not saying too much about him. He's getting a little bit of heat, but not much. But this is bail eligible. This doesn't have anything to do with bail reform. Let's just say, for instance, I had a car, right? And I was having problems with my tires, and I got new tires, right? And then my muffler fell off, and I just start complaining. Oh, you know, these new car parts, they don't work worth of anything. That don't make any sense. The new car parts that I bought didn't fail. It was the old ass muffler that I had on the car that stopped working and fell off. The bail reform changes didn't do anything in this situation. It was the DA that screwed up. And it was the city that screwed up by being part of the sanctuary city nonsense, allowing criminals to get away with whatever. Make it make sense. I want you guys to pay attention to this. When the news reports things like this in a coordinated effort, people need to respond back to it. We're not dumb. We're not dumb.
It didn't happen. But moving forward, we're going to work with our DA to make this right, starting with Tuesday, and we'll just keep working together to make the system better, make it work.
What can be done, you think, then?
We need changes in the bail reform. Even though it's bail eligible, we need changes in bail reform. And one big thing that really hampers the DA's office is discovery. They are bogged down with so much discovery.
How did any of what he's talking about stop the DA's office? Isn't that why everybody's upset with Alvin Bragg? Because literally there was none of this stopping him because this was bail eligible and he just didn't set bail. Isn't that the whole entire issue? Make it make sense. So what you see right here, when the news repeatedly says things that clearly don't make sense, do not question yourself. Question the news. Talk about it. Get the conversation going. You know what I'm saying? Because once it becomes plain and obvious that the news is running a narrative, they'll have to change it. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Paper because I have to get done in a short period of time. It's hurting their ability to prosecute. So we have to start them practical discussions. Let's take a bad event. Let's make it into a good event. Let's get some practical people at the table for some practical solutions and move this city forward.
Can we talk about migrant violence? Because a lot of people are very concerned. They're hearing more and more about violence against the community, against NYPD, and against themselves. What is going on? I heard that something happened overnight with the NYPD.
Right. Migrant crime in the city is becoming an issue for us, whether it be robberies or purse snatches on bikes, human trafficking, mobs going to the stores. It's becoming a real issue. Over the weekend, we made a significant arrest with a couple migrants doing a couple phone snatches. It was part of a big citywide pattern, 62 events, so women getting their pocketbooks and phone snatched. We made the arrest. We executed a search warrant this morning with our detective squad. Big impact on crime, this migrant Venezuelan crew that's preying on our city. We cannot have this anymore. We got to stop it.
So how do you stop it? Because they're being released back out after they do. And a lot of these people are known to you, right? I mean, they've been arrested before.
Well, we could see the time frame.
See? Now, I don't know if y'all recognize these people yet, right? From watching my content or watching these news reports or these news reactions. This lady right here, this journalist, this news anchor right here, she presses people. I don't know if you guys recall when they had Eric Adams on there, but she was asking him all kind of questions, had him sweating. She's gonna keep asking these questions. You know what I'm saying?
When it all starts in May and June. If I tell you right now in this city this year, we have 32 moped patents. The patent is 2 or more of the same crime. 32 patents on mopeds versus 1 last year.
So then you got to ask yourself the question: why is the city still allowing these people to use the mopeds? Why are they still allowing these people to use the mopeds? They're still allowing the people to use the mopeds. They just now put in some type of rule to stop these people from using the mopeds so much. But remember, the whole narrative was that they was using the mopeds to be able to do their food delivery. You guys remember that? At first, they were saying we using these mopeds to do the food delivery. Now, all of a sudden, we using the mopeds to do purse snatchings. That's interesting. We're repurposing the mopeds. See, there goes that repurposing stuff again.
We know what the difference is. Last year alone, 92% increase on moped crimes, all starting around April, May. It coincides when the migrants came in, and it's an issue. We got to talk about it. And here it is.
Who else uses mopeds? Who else uses the mopeds, guys? You know what I'm saying? Who else uses the mopeds? And I think we just crossed 5,000 on BLR1, so shout out to me. Make sure y'all throw some champagne bottles in the chat.
All starting around April, May. It coincides when the migrants came in, and it's an issue. We got to talk about it. And here it is right now, right in front of us.
Is it concentrated in one area? I mean, because we keep hearing about Times Square in that area.
It comes out of Times Square. It's affecting 6 out of 7 what we call patrol boats, 4 to 5 boroughs in our city. It's affecting, and it's a big problem.
The other thing that I heard, and maybe you can tell me if this is true or not, that some mothers have been selling their children at the shelters.
That I'm not aware of. I can't speak.
I know she can't. See what's going on right here. She must got some type of information. I guarantee you, like in the next week or two, we about to hear a report about this. I haven't heard anything about that, but I'm gonna keep looking. Did you guys hear anything about that? Look at all that champagne. That's the only thing that AB Promotions drink, but when he drink too much of it, it give him a headache. So don't put too many champagne bottles in the chat. Or if you do, make sure you put that champagne, the non-alcoholic one, the bubbly. Make sure y'all put that O'Doul champagne in the chat for AB. We'll need AB having a headache.
Thing that I heard, and maybe you can tell me if this is true or not, that some mothers have been selling their children at the shelters.
That I'm not aware of. I can't speak to that. But when we have all these migrants in our city, things are going to happen. You know, you hear the American dream. I think we all agree on that. But we are not going to let migrants or anybody else in the city commit crimes like this. I don't care who you are. It can't happen. Our community deserves better.
How many stops, Zach? I mean,
yeah, that Welch.
Recently,
that Welch.
By the city council.
You know what it is,
How does this
Denise?
now affect what you?
You know what it is? That Welch. That Welch with the aluminum foil over the top.
You do. I mean, you're talking about arresting multiple people at a time. And then you have to talk to a bunch of people, I guess, to get to the bottom of this.
We believe in the spirit of the bill, but we do not believe in the level 1, which is not a stop. It's not based on suspicion. It's not accusatory. It's just an inquiry for information. 8.5 million calls for service last year. If you assume everybody's one, that's 8.5 million. An app that's not built with your thumbs or a piece of paper. It takes away from time, and time is of the essence when you need the police.
And speaking of time, we could go on, and we have many questions for you, but I want, before you, we have to wrap this up. You announced this week, or the NYPD announced, that uniform changes are coming and that officers should get ready for it. The police union has said, hey, we got bigger fish to fry right now. Why do this right now?
Well, I think we got a little sloppy. Okay, if you look professional, there's a term called impression management. If you look good and professional, it's a safety issue also, and it looks good to our public. So I know where the union stands on this, but we're going to do it. It's going to get done.
But what about the religious?
Those are fine. We call those accommodations, medical and religious. They stay. We don't touch those. Okay, so we're going to look better, sharper, professional. It'll keep us safer, believe it or not.